What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Darium's Competitive Pokemon. It's time to play some Pokemon cards on PTCGO. I'm playing my Alolan Ninetales GX deck. I think this deck is super sweet. I finished second place at a League Cup with it this past weekend, so now I have 2 League Cup finishes for the first quarter. Pretty excited about that. And I think this deck is just a lot of fun to play. It's very skill intensive too, in my opinion, just because there are so many different routes you could take to victory. You could try to wear your opponent down with the Luminous Barrier Ninetales. You could try to snipe your opponent with Tapu Koko and then devolve all your opponent's Pokemon with the Espeon EX. You could go for just quick one hit knockouts with Alolan Ninetales GX, just Blizzard Burn after Blizzard Burn. There are a lot of different things you could do with this list to try and achieve victory. And because there are so many different routes you could take and so many different attackers you could pivot to, I think it's just a nice, well-rounded deck with a lot of different options. Now, I'm actually really interested to see how this matchup goes because Azul's list for Ninetales was originally playing the Giratina promo. The list that I play is kind of based off of Azul's list, more or less. But he was playing Giratina promo just to kind of shore up the Greninja matchup, make it really good. I think that you can win Greninja without the Giratina promo. That's kind of my thought process. Especially if you, let's see, I think I just want to bridge it for like a bunch of, maybe the Remoraid. And eventually I'll go in with Espeon EX and maybe devolve some things. But that Tapu Koko should last me a while. I don't know. I want to evolve up these Vulpixes sooner rather than later because I don't want them to be able to be picked off with Giant Water Shuriken. And eventually I'm going to try and get a second Tapu Koko out, but I won't need it right away because my opponent should, kind of not be able to do anything about my active Tapu Koko for a while. I am playing the 1 copy of Acerola in here. That should make things better. So let's just go with that. We're going to get these guys here. Going to attach probably to my active Vulpix and retreat it into Tapu Koko. I doubt that my opponent's going to go for the turn 1, doubt they're going to go for the turn 1 Guzma. So I think putting him, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, my opponent could, bubble me, which is annoying. But I think, I want the Koko out here so I could just start flying flipping as soon as possible. And I didn't want to just attach this to the bench. I mean, then I could have, evolved and retreated. This probably would have been the more correct play. But let's just wait here and see what my opponent does. So I always forget that Froakie has bubble. Yeah, that's something you want to look out for. Not going to want to just serve something up to your opponent that they can paralyze, stall. If my opponent does manage to paralyze my Tapu Koko here, that's going to set me a turn back. If I had left Vulpix in the active, then I just would have been able to evolve it into an Alolan Ninetales. And Alolan Ninetales has only got a retreat cost of 1. So, that would have been much better. Looks like my opponent opts to attached to the bench Froakie though, and they're not going to go for the bubble. So fortunately we did not have to pay for that little misstep there. I could use Brooklet Hill, but for time's sake I don't really need to do all that. I've already deck searched, and I think what I'm going to try and do is just start flying flipping my butt off and really just hope it buffs out. I'm going to Ultra Ball away these 2 water energies, get some nice waters in the discard pile, and I think I want to see, I could either get a Ninetales GX or I could grab Octillery. I'm probably going to grab Octillery just so that we can start grinding this deck out as best we can. I'm going to attach, you pretty much just throw down your choice bands in this matchup. Maybe my opponent plays Tapu Fini or something like that, but not really going to spend too much time worrying about GXs in a Greninja deck because most of the time they're not really playing too many, if any at all. Let's see, I can Field Blower away the Choice Band and the Brooklet Hill. That's fine. And I do waste this DCE here. If I Sycamore it, I could just Flying Flip and save the DCE. I think I'll just Sycamore it though. That's fine. I'll just sack it. And you Sycamore the Espeon too, but that's fine. I don't really need that Espeon yet because I don't plan on benching it until the very end, in which case I would rescue Stretcher for it to get it back. I think I want to get just a quick Ninetales powered up here just so that I could start going in with it as quickly as possible. So I'm going to evolve into my Ninetales and just Aqua Patch to it just so that it's built up and ready to go. And now I'm ready to take out Greninjas now, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to start flying flipping, just make it very difficult for my opponent to be able to stay on the board. And by flying flipping here, I make it so that, I can knock out a Froakie next turn. I can knock that Staryu is going down if my opponent does not evolve immediately into Starmie. Let's see what they hit on this timer ball. 2 tails. That's really rough. Oh my goodness. So I wonder if my opponent's just going to Skylar for the Ultra Ball and get the guaranteed play there. Not exactly sure why my opponent did not evolve and did not attach that splash energy to their active Froakie last turn and try to at least paralyze me. Skylar for the Evo. So I keep forgetting Evo Soda as a card in this format. Evo Soda is really good in Greninja. You can search for those evolutions. Have to imagine my opponent, they evolved 2 Froakies, so they're probably going to Evo Soda for the Starmie there just to make sure that they don't get burned super early. Now, what I can do is I could pivot to Alolan Ninetales right now, and I could just start picking off Froakies, which is super, super useful. And I might just do that. I think that seems like the best way to go, just to start taking aggressive knockouts. I could, especially since my opponent does have 4 of these guys out, I could decide to just flying flip a couple more times, but I think I might try to flying flip a little bit later on. So let's just attach this double colorless energy and we'll Abyssal Hand. I don't necessarily want to end. My opponent has only got a 2-card hand and I don't really know what's in it. So I'm just going to wait that one out. I could save the Guzma. I don't need to play that yet. I think I'm just going to go in and just start Ice Blading and see how that goes. Maybe my opponent decides to throw down a... And I'm going to attack this active one since it does not have the splash energy on it. So that's my reasoning there. Maybe my opponent, maybe they throw down like a Tapu Fini this turn or something like that. If they could do that storm attack and just throw my Ninetales back into the deck, like that would be super annoying. You can see my opponent did have the Field Blower, so I'm like pretty glad that I saved my Choice Band just in case. They were sitting on an N. Now if my opponent does decide to Moonlight Slash here, I could Ice Path GX back. I'm probably just going to go in with a Blizzard Edge and just use that and just try to really put the pressure on my opponent and try to build up a backup Ninetales GX at the same time and just try and do things that way. I guess I'm just going to go and try and stream one-hit knockouts as best I can here and just keep the pressure on my opponent. Now, if they do not evolve up one of these bench Greninjas, then they are going to be on the back foot because then that means that next turn they're not going to be able to get a break. A break. They're not going to be able to get a Greninja break into play. So that is going to be tough for my opponent if they did not draw into another Greninja here. And I wonder if they would just go up and try to maybe promote, yes, they promote a different Pokemon because they really don't want me to take out this Greninja. They're really trying to get a break into play. And my opponent's going to Water Duplicates. They could get that other Frogadier. So that was a heads-up play. I like that. What my opponent did there, and I draw into a Guzma, so that is amazing. You guys can see how good this Guzma is going to be just with the Tapu Koko having that free retreat. Going to bring up my opponent's Greninja, and this is the last thing they wanted me to do. They did not want me to hit that Guzma. I could have gone in with a Lele, and I might have actually done that, just Ultra Ball for the Lele to get the Guzma, just because the Guzma is such a powerful play there. I'm trying out, I think I'm playing 4 Guzma in this list right now, which is just, really cool. Just being able to hand select whatever Pokemon you want to knock out on your opponent's side of the field. I think I'm going to Ultra Ball away this water energy in the end just to grab another Ninetales too, start to set that up. And then I can Abyssal Hand for a few more cards. So at this point, we're going to be able to Blizzard Edge there. And my opponent is getting burned for not Shadows, or not just evolving. And you can see I got another Guzma, so we're on deck, ready to go. That's super cool. I could attach the Flowstone to my Octillery, and I'm probably going to do that just because I don't want it in the deck. I could Brooklet Hill for another Pokemon. I'm going to save that bench space just in case I decide that I want to use... Tapu Lele or something, just to grab a supporter that I need. So I'm going to do that. That was an awesome play. So super cool rip there on the Guzma. Glad I hit it. And now you can see I'm in a pretty commanding position. My opponent does have the Greninja in hand to be able to evolve up, but they still don't have a break in play. And the longer I'm able to keep the breaks out of my opponent's field, the longer I'm just going to be able to sweep and take prizes with Blizzard Edge. I want to try and get as far ahead of my opponent as possible as early as I can, because my opponent is going to be able to bring this game back in a late game. This is how matchups against Greninja go. They're really going to be able to sweep late. And I need to evolve this Vulpix here on the bench, you can see too, because that's just a water shuriken away from them just taking one prize. You know, they're going to be able to exchange just one water energy for a knockout on that Vulpix. So fortunately, I was able to draw into this Ninetales here. You see my opponent, they're getting their splash energies in play. You know, they got 3 Greninja in play this turn. So this turn, they are really starting to go off. And you can see this deck. Okay, and they Shadow Stitch. That's a pretty good heads-up play there by my opponent. I do have the knockout on my opponent's Pokemon, so that's pretty cool. Not too terribly concerned. Just going to slap that there so that I can Blizzard Edge. Going to Aqua Patch one more time to my benched Ninetales, and then I think I'll just attach this Floatstone to, yep, my Ninetales with the energy on it. Maybe I should have done to the one without the energy on it so that it could have, you know, retreated. So then all my Ninetales could have retreated, but I'm not terribly worried about it. At this point, it looks like my opponent might not play any GX Pokemon, that or they're saving it for later. I could Rescue Stretcher and grab my Espeon, but I'm just going to save that resource for later. No point in benching the Remoraid or the Tapu Lele since they did Shadow Stitch. So let's just go ahead and Blizzard Edge, take this knockout. My opponent's going to be able to retreat, you know, get that Pokemon back to their hand. But, you know, still taking prizes here. You can see we've gone up 3 prizes to my opponent's 0. They may finally take a knockout here, especially if they get some breaks into play. They're going to be able to take care of this. Oh, and my opponent's playing Rare Candy. Okay, so that's a really good play. My opponent, you know, able to just rebound very quickly from that knockout on their Greninja. And you can see they're playing more than a 1-1 Starmie line, too. They really intend on getting that Starmie out into play. So that's pretty cool. They're going to be able to get a field full of breaks here, just being very responsive, and they're just continuing to badger me with that end. Makes me think that maybe my opponent is going to Shadow Stitch me again just to try and get me stuck with a low hand. And this time their Timer Ball buffs out. They are able to get 1 break with it. And you can see things are starting to get pretty scary here. I may have to eventually go into the Flying Flip strategy. That's what things are looking like. I wonder if my opponent is able to get a knockout here, though. They're going to Giant Water Shuriken at least once. But if they have 2 Giant Water Shurikens, this Ninetales is going down. So let's see here. They get 1. Do they retreat into the other? Or are they just going to Shadow Stitch or Moonlight Slash? It looks like they do have a second water energy. Yep, because they have Space Beacon. So they're going to go grab 2 water energies with that. Yikes. This is getting pretty hectic now. You can see, let's see, in order for my opponent to knock me out, though, they have to, unless they have a choice band in hand, they have to Moonlight Slash, which means that I am going to get my abilities. Yep, and they do go for the Moonlight Slash. So I am thankful for that. Though this is annoying because Ninetales cannot knock any of these Pokemon out. I could Guzma up the Starmie and hope that I knock that out. That might be like mildly annoying for my opponent, especially if they have to retreat it. I think that's probably the play, actually, just because I forced them to retreat the Starmie, and that like decreases the amount of, you know, usage that they could get out of their giant water shurikens, just because they have to waste an energy on it. Let's see, I have used how many Guzma? And my Acerola is gone. Oh, God. Let's see, let's Guzma up the Starmie. And we're going to promote the Tapu Koko, and we are just going to Abyssal Hand here for a few cards. That's cool. Let's attach that there. And then let's just Flying Flip. Okay. So the Starmie is as good as knocked out. Like, I could chalk that up as knocked out because I can devolve that, and then the Staryu only has 40 hit points. But I'm going to have to get these other Greninjas like pretty worn down in order to devolve them. So I don't think the devolve strategy is really going to work out unless it's like maybe a game-winning play for 1 prize here on the Starmie. Other than that, I'm going to have to try and knock out 2 breaks here with my Ninetaleses. My opponent decides to bench another Starmie, and I wonder why. That seems a little bit of a risky move because then I can really go in with these flying flips. And but I don't know. I mean, maybe it ends up buffing out for my opponent. My opponent pretty much has unlimited energy output here with that Starmie. I could go in and I can Ice Blade, that Starmie if I do hit a Guzma, which would be really good. Because then I could, or I could just Ice Blade the Starmie without. I don't need Guzma. It's a sniping attack, so I could just Ice Blade the Starmie next turn. I could Ice Blade that Staryu for knockout too. So I'm not exactly sure why my opponent decided to bench these. It's a little bit of a risky play just because they seem like they'd be so easy to knock out. If I do hit a Guzma, I could Ice Path GX, the Starmie, and I think that might be a pretty cool play. My opponent's inning me again. So let's see what we end up hitting. You can see my opponent does not like the fact that I'm trying to build up these Ninetales. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. So I think what I'm going to do here, since I have the knockout on this Greninja with my Ninetales, I'm going to go in, attach to this Ninetales, and then I'm going to Aqua Patch and put that on this Ninetales. Pretty much say that this Ninetales is going to get knocked out. And then let's go ahead and end. And I think we just have to take the knockout. That's a tough call. We could take the knockout, but then we're pretty much like sacrificing that Ninetales. We could flying flip one more time, and then we're guaranteed. I think we take the knockout while we have it. I think that's just what we're gonna do. And so I think we take the knockout while we have it, and then we could go in and flying flip a couple times, and if we draw into the Espeon and an energy, then we're going to be able to win, maybe with some flying flips and a devolve. We could win that way. If my opponent then, to try and win the game, I think my opponent, to try and take their last two prizes, might go for my last Ninetales, and then that would give me a chance to be able to Ice Path GX my opponent. Maybe going in with the Ninetales there wasn't the correct play, just because it would have been very difficult for my opponent to knock that out. They would have had to hit their copy of Guzma. I think a lot of Greninja decks are maybe only playing one copy of Guzma, so maybe it would have been better off to try and make them Water Shriek in that a couple more times, and then set me up for an Ice Path play. Looks like they're damaging the other one, so maybe they don't have. They're trying to diversify their damage output, and they're going to Guzma something up. What are they doing? Okay. And then they're going to go in, maybe Shadow Stitch, something like that. Just make it as difficult as possible. If they do Shadow Stitch, then I'm 10 damage short of knocking them out with an Ice Path GX, which is super annoying. And that looks like that's exactly what they're trying to do. I am hip to what they're doing, though, so I'm not going to let them finesse me that way. I am going to retreat, and I'm probably going to flying flip, because that's my best move right now. My opponent's probably going to try and win the game by, let's see, they play Guzma. I wonder if they have a supporter in their hand. I don't really want to refresh my opponent's hand right now. I think I just want to try and keep them as low as possible. I don't want to bench this Remoraid, because that's just a free prize for my opponent. Don't want to bench this Lele. I don't want to limit myself to 2 cards. I think I'm best off just maybe I'll Brooklet Hill and see what I got in my deck. I do have 1 copy of Guzma left in there, a Sycamore, one water energy. Okay, so resources are getting a little thin, guys. A little thin. Okay, I don't know if I could pull this one out with only that much stuff in my deck. So let's just go ahead and flying flip. And my opponent now has to knock something out. So they have to knock something out. I need energy. How many energy have I used? Oh my goodness. 5. I have 2 waters. My last 2 prizes are water energy. That is a bummer. Okay. So typically you have a little bit more access to water energy than what I got going on. 5. No, yeah, 5, 6 here. 7. No, I have 1 of my energy. Okay, 1 of my last 2 prizes is an energy. So my resources are just getting spread really thin. I did not realize that was my 4th DCE there. That is very rough. I don't know if I could pull this one out with just that many waters left in deck. I think my opponent may have just run me out of resources, or I may have run myself out of resources. And you can see why this is just such a difficult deck to play. Ugh. And I've used all 4 Aqua Patch. My opponent knows it. I can't, and this is my 4th DCE, so they know that I'm not going to be able to Ice Path GX this Ninetales here, which is just extraordinarily frustrating. I need to get something going here. I probably need to top deck Professor Sycamore. Ugh. But I don't think that's gonna quite do it.
Hi, Mahone.
Hey, what's up, Kevin? How you doing?
Mahone hates when you video bomb me.
No, that's totally cool if you video bomb me, just not when I'm losing. Oh no.
Well, Dan's here too to enjoy it.
Oh, how you doing, Dan?
I'm probably gonna scrap the video anyway.
What? Because I lost?
Yep.
What? No, I always show off videos where I lose. This is just a tough one, man. It's a really grinder of a matchup.
Dan, you can put like
Let's see.
a
We put the Lele down. We search for a supporter. Like, yeah, I guess we have to at this point. But there's nothing really worth getting. The Sycamore is the only thing that can help us. So we got to go get that Sycamore. And my opponent's still got 3 prizes left to take. But as you can see, you know, I am just a long shot off from being able to win this game. I have to tank with this. Let's see, my opponent's got a small hand. I can win. I can win. I can still do this. All right, let's go. A Sycamore. We got it. No way! How did we whiff that water energy? Oh my gosh. It's the last card in our deck. I can't Abyssal Hand for it.
Oh, what's up? Okay, so right now I'm in the act of misplaying. I do not see, I'm distracted, tilted, whatever, that I could actually Ultra Ball and then Abyssal Hand for my last water and then use that Rescue Stretcher in my hand right now to shuffle 3 Pokemon back in the deck so I don't deck out. But I don't see it. Anyways, decided to upload this game anyway because it's a good game, even though I misplay. Alright, so back to the game.
Oh my goodness. This is just horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. Okay. So yeah, we got to pass and then end next turn and just hope that... Oh no, this is bad. My opponent's really going to be able to take advantage of me here. Let's just pass. Oh no, I can't believe the last card in my deck is a water energy. Oh my gosh. I needed that to be able to Ice Blade. I would have knocked out that Starmie. And what we would have had to do, we had to Ice Blade, knock out the Starmie. And then hopefully my opponent's got 1 prize left. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't believe I whiffed that. It was unreal. Now they're going to Space Bacon and get all the energy they need. I wish I had Space Beacon right now.
Did you say Space Bacon?
Space Bacon. I call it Space Bacon sometimes. These guys are doing they're doing some construction down here on, let's see, what are they going to do? So they've made it so that so long as if he Moonlight Slashes here, he's going to make it so that all he needs to do is pull off a giant Water Shrieking for game. That is super annoying. And there's my 8th energy, so that's cool, right? Let's just attach this here. And hopefully my opponent doesn't get what they need. I can still win. I can't Ultra Ball because I can't. That's funny. I tried to play Ultra Ball. Of course I can't Ultra Ball. I got a 0-card deck. But this is fine.
And a bunch of cards back in your
That's what I'm doing. I'm about to end. Dan, thanks. All right, let's see here. There's pretty much no point in playing. I could get an energy off my prize here, which would be cool. But I don't think it's going to matter. What's going to matter is whether or not my opponent can just get the win. So let's just end here. I don't want to deck myself, so I'm not going to play any of those cards down. Let's just end. I have access to my whole deck with Octillery, so there's really no point in playing any of those cards down. And then let's just retreat. And then we got to knock out that Starmie and pray my opponent doesn't have it. All right, so let's Ice Blade, knock out the Starmie. Hopefully my opponent does not get energy. I mean, I got an energy. That's cool. I could Blizzard Edge for game. My opponent just can't get a Starmie, can't get energy, nothing. No Lysanders, no Guzmas, no funny business. They got a Choice Band. No, they got the Sycamore. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's over. It's totally over. Here he goes. Giant Water Streak. Just show me. Oh, he got it. Man, that was a close game. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Really close. I think I could have pulled that one out maybe if I just had like one small thing go my way. Like I said, you know, Azul played the Giratina promo in this deck. The Giratina promo would definitely shore this matchup up, make it, you know, much easier to win, obviously. I think that it probably is a winnable matchup without that Giratina promo, but as you can see, things get very grindy. It gets very close. I had actually run out of resources that game, so you can see Ninetales, pretty tough deck to play. Very fun to play, though. Thank you all for watching the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.